All I hear is talking, I don't sweat that. If they don't trust me either, I respect that. But she be down the ride, oh, I bet that.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is JH. How y'all doing, Postal family? Is everybody good? Is everybody cool? Are you clean? Are you crisp? Are you feeling irie today? Let's talk. Yo, it's about time. Let me tell you a secret. Bring it close. Wait. Slow down. Back it up a little bit. Okay, no, you went too far. Bring it back close. Okay, right there. Yeah. Rural carriers done had enough. I hear you, dog. I hear you. Okay, listen up, Postal family, because apparently this can be done. I'm not saying it should be done. Let's clarify that. But it can be done. What we talking about, Jay? Okay, USPS rural carriers seek to decertify union after most members see pay cuts. I told y'all, UPS changed the game. You understand? Them rural carriers was like, yo, we was banking 90 grand a year. Now you down to 70? What's popping, son? That's me being animated. Let's just go with it, okay? Back up a little bit. All right, cool. Several thousand postal service rural carriers say they in favor of decertifying their union after USPS implemented a new pay system that led to significant pay cuts for 2/3 of the rural carrier workforce. I tried to told you. A grassroots network of rural carriers across the country is collecting signatures from their co-workers in hopes of joining a new union. This is interesting. Follow me, fam. Follow me. Rural carriers have until the end of the calendar year to gather signatures from nearly 1/3 of the total rural carrier workforce. But individuals leading the project said they have already collected about 20% of the necessary signatures. Boy, this is good. This is good. You know what? Let me stop. Let me stop, because y'all gonna be like, oh, Jay, you're against unions. No. Before we continue, I'm all for the unions so long as they do their work. Now, these guys collectively came together and said, we're gonna decertify our current union in order to join another union. Which one? I don't know. I didn't read the whole article. I'm here with you. We talking together, all right? We talking. And in that case, the rural carrier union, they gotta be looking at it like, damn, I guess we ain't been doing our jobs. But on devil's advocate here, listen, did you rural carriers actually go to your union meetings? Now, the lady that wrote me the other day and said, she spoke up and said, what are you doing, file injunctions, et cetera, she was at the union meeting. If enough of you guys attend, you would know what's going on. So no matter what union you join, if you do not participate, for my young folks, for my folks that's so busy, to everybody really, if you don't participate, the union is made up of you. All right, so you can get 10 different unions, but it's not gonna matter if they don't hear your voice. Let's continue. Leaders behind the effort say that their current union, the National Rural Letter Carriers Association, has done little to prevent the Rural Route Evaluation Compensation System, REX, from going into effect in May or communicating its rollout to its members. So, this again was done back in 2011 or 2012. This is more than likely the members' faults because you didn't participate in your union meetings. John, a rural carrier in Lexington, North Carolina, has a dues-paying NRLCA member of 16 years, said that as of August 9th, he's collected 7,423 signatures. He runs a website, decertify nrlca.com, outlining the steps rural carriers must take to sign the petition. Such and such and his colleagues will need 33,900 signatures by the end of the year, 30% of the total rural carriers workforce. The National Labor Relations Board to hold an election and let rural carriers vote on whether to stay or leave the union. If there's ever a time to make a change for the better of our union, it's now or never. Stand back and do nothing and watch NRLCA take our dues and do nothing, or sign the petition. Boy, I like this. I like this. My opinion. Somebody, a rural carrier in Palm Beach, Florida, who's worked for 13 years, said rural carriers who signed the petition at this point are expressing an interest in holding a vote to decertify that union. Once we get 1/3 of the members, it doesn't do anything as far as changing the union. It just gives us the option to go to the NLRB and say 1/3 of our workforce is interested in decertifying the union. Can we hold a ballot? Rural carriers need to cross the 33,900 signature threshold by December 28th, 2023. In order to give the NLRB enough time to verify the signatures and mail ballots. He added, the NRLCA's labor contract expires May 2024, and that bargaining unit employees can only decertify the union when the contract is up for renewal. Chandler said, all rural carriers can sign, even if they are non-dues paying members. RCAs and part-time flexible employees are also eligible to sign a petition. 2/3 of the USPS rural carriers saw significant pay cuts this spring when they rolled out the new pay system. It's been in work for more than a decade. They didn't know. Why? Unlike the city letter carriers and city carrier assistants, the rural carriers work under an evaluated pay system, and most mail routes get an annual evaluation based on how long it takes to complete and how much mail it receives. Chandler said rural carriers are looking to join the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Bring it close. If the rural carriers join the Teamsters, change the fucking game, dog. Y'all don't hear me? That changes the game. Boy, y'all been asking. And look. The article is there. Where? Federal News Network. Look it up. Ooh, the union that represents United Parcel Service employees, UPS employees were recently on the verge of striking, but management reached a new labor agreement in July with the union. We have our eyes set on Teamsters. A spokesperson for the International Brotherhood of Teamsters said union is not in talks with rural carriers. King said rural carriers behind the decertification push aren't interested in joining the National Association of Letter Carriers, which is the carriers union, right? Which represents city carriers. They're like, why jump from worst to worst? Now that sucks. Think about that. If the rural carriers don't even want to join a union that is part of the post office, what's that say? Jay don't make this up. Well, I've been trying to tell you. I tried to told you. Y'all like my English is pretty bad today. Just talking to some of our city carriers, it doesn't seem to be as if we may be getting a better union. So we may end up with some of the same kind of problems and same kind of issues. Damn, that's not a man. Says such and such said that if rural carriers don't reach an agreement to join another union by the time NLRB distributes ballots, carriers will opt to remain as the National Letter Carrier Association. The ultimate goal is we don't want to decertify the union, just be decertified and be without a union. We don't want to decertify the union just to be decertified and be without a union. I don't understand that. Rex is a production between more than a decade ago, and both parties failed to agree on how to design a new pay system for their own rural carriers. He said, I'm trying to keep names out of this, so bear with me. He said a lot of people lost $12,000 in yearly wages under the Rex, and many of his fellow co-workers had to get part-time jobs in addition to delivering mail just to make ends meet. We have got foreclosure notices, vehicles repossessed. Kingston said he was making $72,000 a year prior to Rex. Under the new system, he faces $15,000 cut off of that while delivering the same route. Another rural carrier in Palm Beach says she's now working 6 days to earn the same amount of pay she received when she was working 5 days. The union, they really don't stand up for you. I do understand post office does have to be run, but we're paying for the union to do something. Rural carriers report they have not received proper training on how to ensure they're logging their work correctly on handheld scanners or how these scans translate into their take-home pay. Most carriers compensated on the Rex will now input on an average between 12 and 20 additional scans each day on a handheld scanner that reads and collects barcode data. It's the data, baby. They're not transparent with the numbers, so we're not able to argue whether the numbers are correct. They know that for the last year, carriers weren't getting trained properly to do the scans. We were asking questions on how scans were working and we weren't getting any answers. The Rural Carriers Association earlier this year negotiated with USPS to delay the rollout of Rex, but the union, But the union allowed Rex to go into effect without addressing carriers' concerns about training and how the system would impact their pay. They understood that the data was not correct before they implemented it, and they decided to implement it regardless. I don't know how much power the union has to be able to stop it. We wish we had a union that we able to at least say, you can't implement this at least until everything is fully functional. I agree with that. A spokesperson from the National Rural Letter Carrier Association didn't respond to a request for a comment. Figures, USPS press representatives declined to comment as well. Nobody commented on this, huh? It's funny. Aside from the Rex, Chandler said the rural carriers in several states have different issues with the union. He said that the union stewards regularly meet with USPS management but have zero communication with rural carriers who file grievances against the agency. We try to contact our reps via phone call and email with no answer. Several simple grievances that should have been won hands down are handed to management with a white flag in submission. Time and time again, they side with management, even when the mail carrier shows the steward in black and white in the contract. It's like taxation without representation. He previously served as a local steward, but resigned after a year when he noticed he got minimal support from our area and district reps. Rex rollout hit the hardest, and it was the breaking point for some carriers, but added that he and other carriers have other complaints with the union. It's progressively getting a little bit worse and a little bit worse. It's kind of been the last straw where everybody took huge pay cuts and everyone is tired at this point. Rural carriers behind the decertification movement are distributing physical cards to co-workers to collect signatures. King says he expects the grassroots effort will gather more momentum once more rural carriers become aware of the decertification effort. Getting all the offices to know that we're doing this is a task, he said. Well, you just happen to have somebody right here that talks to a lot of people around the country. So here goes, Postal family. If you made it this far, bring it close again. Bring it close. I want you, if you're a regular carrier and you have some rural carriers in your office, get back a little bit, you're a little too close. I want you to let them know to read this article. It's in the Federal News Network. If they're not aware of it, make them aware of what's going on, okay? Once this information spreads like wildfire, the rest of the unions that represent all of us will start to second guess. And here's what I told you guys about 2 weeks ago. You USPS has changed the game. Know what I mean now, right? This is JH. Leave your comments below. Let's talk. We out.
Unexpected expenses stressing you out? Get the money you need now with Loans for Feds, a program designed specifically for federal employees. Bad credit is not a problem. Application is fast and easy with same-day approvals. Apply now.